Hey guys, Matt Bishop here. We are backstage at the Sands Event Center here in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and I'm here with the one and only Dave Mustaine of Megadeth. How are you, sir? Thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks.
How is the tour going so far?
This tour's been great. We had several different legs of it over the last 5-6 months since the record came out. Touring with Iron Maiden, with Black Sabbath down in South America, which was really cool, and doing a Gigam tour, going out with all the bands that we had. It was really exciting for us, with Zach and with David from Device, and Vinny, of course, he was tons of fun. Hell yeah. And unfortunately, Jason wasn't feeling good a lot of the time, so we didn't get to spend much time with him. But it's just a bunch of superstars out there. It's cool. It's really cool.
It sounds like, from what I gather, from covering, the music scene, especially in hard rock and metal, it's a very small community, and a lot of guys, are friends and stuff, and it sounds like you guys really got a nice group of buddies together for this Gigantour, this run.
Yeah, well, it's not really that small because there's so many bands there, but there is kind of like the metal rat pack, if you know what I mean. People talk a lot about the Big Four, but there's so many other bands that should go into that category. Pantera was one of them, and Exodus, I believed, was worthy of being in that beginning group of people, because it was Exodus, Megadeth, Metallica, Slayer, Anthrax. So it's kind of obvious to me. It could very easily have been a Big Ten for all as far as my musical tastes are concerned.
I tell people that all the time. I just saw Testament a couple nights ago, this past week, and they were just phenomenal, brutally heavy, and it was quite an era, and there's a lot of bands, I think, that slipped through the cracks a little bit that really shouldn't. That's my take anyway.
I agree with you. That's your take.
You agree. This is great. This made my night.
Well, it's your take is what I'm agreeing with.
You guys are touring in support, obviously, of your new album, Super Collider. Came out back in June. Number 6 on the Billboard charts, I believe, was the debut, your highest since Euthanasia. What does that say for the genre as a whole, as far as, commercially, in terms of commercial success?
It's just a lot of different things, People that like the record, the public made their statement. A lot of people that don't particularly agree with my viewpoint, whether it's, spiritually or religiously or politically, they attack our music, and instead of saying I disagree with what Dave says, and we've gotten to the point where people are so vicious in the things that they say, because they're not very educated and they don't really understand the King's English. They'll say words that are much more heavier than what they really say. Perfect example is when you watch politicians speak, they pick their words very carefully, and they don't have to go overboard and say like, that guy's a fucking asshole, They can say, well, we question his integrity and stuff like that, or experience shows that this is the wrong decision to make, and you can bitch slap somebody pretty good without having to get down and dirty with it. And the problem is with records, with critics. What's their job? It's to criticize things. The fans spoke. They like the record. They're obviously, when you're with a record company, they have songs that they believe in, and they pick an order of songs, all kind of stuff like that. There's a lot of, I think, a lot of wisdom in watching the way record companies develop bands. But we're kind of at a point right now where we get to kind of do what we know to do, and they trust us with it, which is really cool. We're already, there was just so much life infused back into the band when we got signed to Universal. Just the writing progression, because when we first got signed, it was like, okay, great, this is really cool, and started writing and stuff. But as that record came out, and the subsequent touring, and all the good that happened from that, the guitar playing started getting a lot more ferocious, because we weren't really relying on radio anymore, because we're back. We're at the most popular we've been, I think, since Countdown right now. Record sales don't really correlate popularity because of piracy and stuff like that, but I honestly believe we're the biggest right now we've been since Countdown. It's a great feeling.
Yeah. And I like what you said about, it's not really all about the record sales, because people say, well, this album did this on this Billboard chart, and I'm like, go to the show. If you can even get a ticket, go to the show, and then tell me, you know, who's the bigger band and all that noise.
Well, that's like that with a lot of bands too, you know. The live ticket sales don't necessarily correlate with record sales. You know, for example, look at the Stones. Their records have been pretty insignificant for, you know, a couple of decades now, but they still pack stadiums, you know. I think people are wanting to go watch one of them croak on stage personally, but, you know, I mean, you know, for me, it's just all relevant, you know. Do you love your audience? Are you willing to give them a piece of your soul and share your life with them? You know, some people aren't. You know, they have like this wall that they have, and you're playing music. If you're an actor and you're playing music, then you're not a musician. You're an actor, like Rick Springfield, right? I don't want Jesse's Girl.
This is the third record in a row with this current Megadeth lineup. Was it more of a sense of this is a well-oiled machine going into the studio this time?
You know, it's really weird. I love the guys that were in the past with Megadeth, all the different alumni. There were some people that, you know, were friends still, some were not, and you know, it's just the way life is, you know. But honestly, if we could have started with Sean, I probably wouldn't have made any drummer changes, because he's one of my best friends and he's a great player. And you know, David and I have obviously got a very deep relationship because, you know, our parting ways and then reconciling and stuff like that. You know, a guy in my position, you would pretty much think would say, forget it, I'm never going to forgive you. But you know, I love him. He's like my little brother, and it's really great to see how important forgiveness is, especially in our genre, because, you know, the music typifies a certain type of feeling that we have, because, you know, we're the underdogs in society. We're the salt of the earth, and when we have a lot of emotions that happen, a lot of times those emotions are our self-defense mechanisms. And for me, whenever I got lonely, I'd get angry. When I got sad, I'd get angry. When I was tired, I'd get angry. When I got angry, I was like, yeah, I get angry now, and stuff like that. And I think that comes out in the music a lot. And you know, if you're making music and you're not really connecting with people, it's like that scene in Purple Rain where the guy goes up to Prince and says, nobody understands your music but yourself. You know, I don't want to be that dude. I don't want to be like the, you know, these bands like King Crimson and stuff. You know, great bands, but you know, it's kind of weird listening to the music. It's like a story, you know, and you have to listen to the whole record. You know, like these concept records, like early Genesis and stuff. Great records, but I like songs. I like riffs. I like tacky guitar. You know, you hear guitar players say, oh, I love my instrument. Well, I hate my guitar. I like beating its ass every night, and that's what you should do with it, right?
I agree.
Make it work, man. You know, it's not a paintbrush, it's a weapon.
How many guitars are you touring with on this tour? Speaking of guitars.
You don't know. You'd have to ask Willie G that. I think, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I think I got 5 in my rig right now, and if you're talking about guitars in general, there's probably 100 in the truck right now, because we give them away with our meet and greet opportunity we have every night. People love those Deans. They're just, I gotta tell you, man, I can play any guitar I want. These guys are just, it's such a smoking guitar. It's right there. If you know how to play, you know, you're more than welcome to try it when we're done.
I think I might have to.
But it's, you know, it's one of those guitars where it's just crafted right, you know. It's not about making money off of people. It's not about, you know, compromising on the parts that make up the guitar. It's all quality stuff. Good. One of the things that really bothered me about a couple of the guitars from the last company I was with, I'm going to say which one it was, and it wasn't the last, one of the last ones. You would pick the guitar up and it wouldn't be the same guitar. You'd go into a music store and, you know, like I had a habit of accidentally breaking guitars on stage.
It happens.
Yeah, bad monitor guys kind of cause guitars to end up in splinters. But and you know, you have to go into a guitar store and go and get another guitar, and you pick it up off the shelf, and it's like, man, this just doesn't feel right. And for me, I think that if you pick my guitar up off of the shelf, it should be the same way it comes out of my case. You know, and so that you know, hey, this is Dave's guitar. This is Dave's guitar, not like, well, it looks like it, you know, it sounds like it, you know, it sure the hell doesn't feel like it, you know, so, because it plays really, really, really simple, you know, and And that's the TLC that I think that they have when they set it up in the factory.
Very good.
You know, so.
Well, what is next for Megadeth coming down the pike? We're moving into 2014 very quickly. Any more touring?
God, the year's gone by so fast, hasn't it?
Yeah.
No more touring this year. We're going to end on the West Coast and going to take the holidays off. I moved and have a new house, and we were building the studio because we moved out of Vic's garage, and so we're going to start hooking up the four of us and piecing together riffs and stuff. And I think that Universal just exercised their option for another record, so we're going to be with them for another record, and which is great. And see, they like it too.
There we go.
And the people say. So that's exciting for us, and we're going to go home and just kind of lick our wounds and heal and get ready for 2014. We've got a pretty busy year. We're booked up until August of next year. Starting off down in the South Pacific, Australia, New Zealand, that area down there. Which is really cool to go down. If you've never been there, it's really cool. Imagine like if you took a bunch of English people, they all had braces and they had tans and they lived up by the beach.
There we go. All right.
It's really cool.
Well, very good, my friend. I greatly appreciate you taking the time. Dave Mustaine of Megadeth, ladies and gentlemen. The latest album, Super Collider, is out now. Go get a copy if you haven't already. Couple of tour dates left in 2013, and then we're into the new year. Happy holidays. New music coming in the imminent future. Not sure when, but it's on its way. Long live death.